we have to have a talk. So I just rewatched Hellfest tonight, and what the fuck? Like, genuinely, what the fuck? I don't get the hate for this movie. And believe me, I've seen, like all of the reviews on this movie and reports, saying that, Hellfest is a generic slasher movie, generic story, terrible kills, terrible story, lackluster characters. Like, I've heard all of that shit, rinse and repeated for this movie. I don't agree. Fuck it. I love Hellfest. I think this is genuinely a great slasher movie. I've reviewed this movie once in the past. I don't remember what I said back then, but rewatching it tonight, there is so much I noticed that just makes this movie stand out as a very unique slasher movie. Like this, like on one level, like yeah, this is your standard typical, hack and slash, killer going after a group of people. Like yeah, we've seen that a dozen times before, but this is also a very unique slasher as well, which I will get into that in this video. Believe me. So, and I want to with this video, I'm not here to change your opinion on Hellfest. If you're someone who absolutely despises this movie and thinks it's one of the worst movies ever made and that it's an abomination to the horror genre, well, like I am glad that you feel that way. That's your opinion. I respect it. I'm here to defend this movie. I think this is genuinely a perfect written movie. This is an example of a great modern representation of a slasher done right. And yes, I said that. And so yeah, let's get into all the reasons for why I love Hellfest. So yeah, to start off, the writing in this movie is amazing. And I want to shout out the writers in this video. So this movie is written by Seth M. Sherwood and Blair Butler and Aklia Cooper. So hope I said his or her name correct. But this movie has 3 writers attached to it. And there is one scene in this movie I can pinpoint as being a very effective scene in this movie. And it's a great introduction to our killer in the movie. And I don't really consider the opening scene of this movie where we see the serial killer hunting down, I guess, his so-called like first victim of the movie. I don't really consider that our opening. The scene I'm about to talk about, I consider like our full introduction on the killer, and I will give my reasons to why. So the scene I'm talking about, if you've seen the movie, you will know. So yeah, spoilers, of course. This movie came out in what year? 2018. There we go. So the one scene I'm talking about is the scene when the girl runs from the side of the stage into the stage center, and she's like she's yelling, "Oh, help me! He's trying to kill me," and all of that. And then shortly after that, like seconds later, the killer comes out, and it's set up as this stage show. And this is where I will say the direction is also superb here. This I consider the full introduction because like it sets up the killer's game really well. Like it sets up just our killer in general. Not only his introduction, but it also gives a lot of development to his character, which the killer in this movie, he's very blank, he's very faceless. There's no emotion coming from this killer, and this is a killer that you can tell as you're watching the movie, like he is experienced, he has done this shit before. And if you look at the opening of the movie, which I'm gonna say was last year's Hellfest, like just in the context of the story. So yeah, this movie was based in modern day, and this one was released 2018. So the opening scene of this movie would have taken place in 2017. So yeah, he's obviously done this like a few years in a row, because when he's killing his victims in this movie, there is no sympathy. There's no kind of holding back. He lures them in, and I want to tell you why the kill in this movie stands out to me. On one end, you can say it's generic and this is just the director's excuse, but I don't look at it that way. The killer in this movie stands out to me because he has a game plan. He goes to these events because he knows he won't stand out. Like, he's just like all the other freaks. He's just like all the other monsters and all the other people that are dressed up as their favorite horror legends and horror icons. And that's what I love. I love the fact that nobody suspects a thing from him. So, and when it is like a public death, and as the end of this movie is, like, everybody just thinks it's a stage show, and I think all of those things are written so well because because of the environment they're in, and because everybody knows that this is a horror themed event, so there is going to be public there is going to be fake public executions, fake public deaths, but they don't know which death is fake or real because each of them have have performers and have actors and actresses acting them out. And I think, just to me, they're the deaths that really stand out in this movie, are the ones that are in front of people, because I think just they work so well for the location that this movie is set in. And now, another point. Halfway in the movie, you see that there's 15 other people that are wearing the same costume, the same exact costume as our real masked serial killer. I love that, because then there's 15 suspects lined up, and all of them are our threat here. Any of these people can be the killer, and just it works so well. I'm gonna bring it back to, once again, the environment. It works so well for the environment and the location that this movie is set in, and it's written to such perfection. And all of the kills that you get in this movie, I have hit or miss feelings on them, but this viewing, I thought the goal was actually quite good. It is short, but my favorite kill by a fucking landslide is the fucking hammer kill. I love that. Just you see his head get squashed. It's only a 2-second shot, but every second of that is worth it. That is a gorgeous looking fucking kill. I love that shit. And then the needle kill was the second one, where you actually see it go through his eye, and it's this long extended scene. Oh, fucking so good. I can't give enough praise to those scenes. And then there are a few kills, where it's just, it's a basic, you stab him and move on, kind of kill. But yeah, there are some creative ones in here, and the killer does have some creativity in him, which I always respect, especially a slasher movie. for having creativity. So if you don't like this movie, at least give creativity to those two kills I listed, because they are badass kills. And then the other thing I love about this movie, which this is going to be a controversial opinion, but like yeah, but once again, we don't all have the same opinion here. The ending. I love the ending to this movie. Like, fuck it, I'm saying it. I genuinely love the ending to this movie. I think it's a great ending. Like whether or not we get a sequel, I don't care. I think this is the perfect closure to Hellfest. Because the ending to this movie, it's one of those open-ended endings where like it's never the end of the story, and that there could be like a second movie to come. Like it's a few years have passed, and like I don't think a sequel's happening, but yeah, even then I love the ending because like it just once again it develops on the killer, and it's just I don't know how many people notice this, but I love the killer in this movie. Especially the end, like you see his cupboard of like weapons and all that and masks, and yeah, like and you realize he's been doing this for like a lot longer than you would expect, and that there's actually he has a routine to how he does it. Like he dresses up purely to blend in with the crowd. Like he is a crowd member, and when he's at Hellfest, like this is his playground of fun. This is his playground of hell, if you were to put it that way. And just I love that. And I love how kind of he wears a different mask. Each year he goes there. So nobody suspects a thing. So nobody can be like, oh, like, oh, there's that guy from last year. I love that. I love how he always kind of mixes it up, and while you never see it, it's like it's there in context. I love that. I seriously love that about this ending, and I love how ballsy the ending is as well. How there is no confirmation. You don't know what the killer's connection is to this group of people or the previous victims over the past years. I I love that. I'm so there's just so much to break down in this movie that is pure genius. Let's see what else is to talk about that ending, and then you also find out that he has a daughter, which that was surprising. That was actually surprising to me the first time I watched this movie. I was like, okay, he's obviously he's a married man of sorts. Like maybe the wife is on I don't know, is on like a cruise somewhere or on like a business trip, or he could be divorced. You don't know too much about his actual family life, but as for what he does, and then he gives the stuffed toy to his daughter, which that is disturbing to me. While that is like it's kind of a good father daughter moment, that is disturbing. Knowing how he got that, that is disturbing. Knowing the events that happened, that is disturbing. Anyone else or just me? Um, like maybe because like I'm looking at this movie in a more kind of deeper context than most people would, but to see, I love how you don't know who the killer is. I think that is a very ballsy ending to leave this movie, because like every slasher movie ends the same way. Killer takes off the mask. There's this big dialogue moment like, oh, I was doing this because oh, I was bullied at school, or oh, I didn't go out with this guy, and yeah, all the slasher motivations out there. This killer doesn't actually have a motivation. You never see his face. You see the back of his head, but that's it. I love it. Oh my god, I love it. I'm probably getting a bit too excited over it, but yeah, I love this ending, and it clicks with me why people just don't see this stuff and just admire it for what it is. Like, because I think it's good to change up every once in a while. And I think if this movie was just to be a basic one level slasher. You know, it ends the same way. You know, the slasher. You know, our killer. Our killer gets stabbed or shot, and there's a big reveal and all that. If all that was in this movie, like, I feel like this movie maybe would have gone down like a few like a few stars for me. Only because like it does feel very generic then if you know how it's going to end. Like, oh, the fucking killer dies or the killer gets away, and all that. Like, we've seen those, and we've seen every slasher ending in the book, and then here comes Hellfest with a very unique ending, and that's what I was talking about before. This is a very unique slasher. Like, and I'm talking about purely about the ending here. I'm calling unique. I think this is a very ballsy way that Gregory Plotkin ended this movie. I think what he did was just amazing. And just, yeah, they're all my reasons for why I love Hellfest. I noticed all that tonight, and it's just, yeah, I'm a huge fan like of this movie. I think this is a damn good fucking slasher movie. And I think it's very unique. It takes risks. Yeah, I don't get the hate. I really just don't get the hate for this movie. But anyways, I just want to tell you the reasons for why I love this movie, and I really hope this movie gets more love over the years. Like, it's now 2022, people's opinions haven't changed on this movie, so I don't know if what I'm saying will help. But yeah, it's just I wanted to share like my opinion with you guys. But anyways, if you have seen Hellfest, let me know down in the comments. What did you think of this movie? Did you like it? Did you think it was mad? Or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.